Why are you here? You're here to outwork. You're here to outtrain. You're here to win.
Here to preview Rutgers with Dan Seifring. Dan is the conference ranking expert at Flow, also co-owner of WrestleStat. Dan, thanks for taking the time to talk with me.
Hey, no problem. Thanks a lot for having me, Mike. Appreciate it.
I know you're a huge Rutgers fan and a big follower of college wrestling. It'd be fun to talk some RU wrestling. Rutgers is coming off an 11th place finish at NCAAs last year. They had six qualifiers. They have 5 guys returning to the lineup this year that have been qualifiers. 2 All-Americans. And looking back at last year, I think they slightly underperformed their seed. What do you think about Rutgers from last year?
Yeah, so they, as you mentioned, they returned 2 All-Americans. Ashnall was a former All-American, not last year, but last year they did get Soriano and Delvecchio, and they had 2 blood round guys. So if you could have pushed those 2 guys in, John Van Brill and Nick Gravina, you're talking absolutely top 5, maybe top 7 team at that point. So, I think they had a good year. I mean, if they would have finished top 10, even though they were 11, like that top 10 really sounds a lot better than 11th. So I'm sure the coaches wanted more, and I'm sure they were holding on to 10 for a while until Valencia knocked out Hall. So
right.
I think they would have been very happy with a 10th. And if John Van Brill, he's up by 4, I believe, with 16 seconds left, and lost that match in overtime. So that was a killer there.
Totally. And they lose DeLuca and Lewis. Lewis wasn't an All-American, but he had last year, but he had been also a world champ, in the universities. The Big Ten is stacked. They're not doing any favors being in that conference, although I'm sure it helps them with recruiting, but it is a stacked conference. They also bring in Oklahoma State this year on the schedule for an out-of-conference home duel, which is going to be pretty special if you have Soriano fix. So, again, they miss Penn State. They miss Ohio State. I think they have the western side of the Big Ten this year.
Correct.
With Okie State, but they will be battle-tested come Big Ten conference time.
Sure. Now, they're not going to go to the Midlands this year. They're going to go to Cliff Keen in Vegas. I believe their plan is, I've heard Coach Goodale say that they're going to send some of the guys that are redshirting or some of the backups they're going to be sending out to the Midlands, but the starters won't be going there. But they're going to be well tested. Anytime you wrestle in the Big Ten with that schedule, there's no way other than to be tested come Big Ten tournament and the national tournament time.
Yeah, and the 2 highest ranked guys, Soriano and Ashnall, they're going to see all the toughest guys in the country before they get to the conference. So we'll know where they're at, and they'll get an idea of where they're at. The other thing that I thought was a pretty interesting news this year in the offseason is Rutgers finally added Ryder to their schedule.
Yes. Well, I think they've wrestled in the past, but it seems like it's been a long time since they've wrestled.
Yeah, so now all 3 Jersey teams will wrestle. D1 Jersey teams will wrestle each other, and that's awesome for the fans.
It's fantastic. Yeah, I think they'll should have a great crowd for the Ryder match. That's, I believe, December 16th. It's the next Rutgers home match. So I know they're pushing it, and it's going to be a home and home. Hopefully, they could get some long-term plans in there to keep that match going for a while. I know you were at Princeton, Mike, and I heard that there could be a nice rivalry brewing here. I heard there might have been some words exchanged in some of those matches.
There was a lot of passion going on there between all 3 New Jersey squads. Ryder was it 125 match, was it Trapea and Aguilera. There was a lot of passion match side there.
A lot of passion, right.
And even, the Princeton and Ryder match in the finals with Glory and Trapea. That was good stuff. And even the duel, now Princeton's team didn't have quite the lineup they were hoping last year against Rutgers.
Right.
But they also had Battle at the Birthplace 2 years ago, which was a pretty cool atmosphere. I think a bunch of wrestlers got sunburned that day. So it's just great to see Jersey college wrestling on the rise. helping each other grow. The RTC bringing in Reese Humphrey can only help. So
yeah, that's huge. That's going to be incredible. I love him on social media. He's really pumping the program a lot, so that's going to be great. It looks like they're doing a great job down there, and I should, up there for me. I'm down here in South Jersey now, but down in Princeton, I guess they split the time between Princeton and Rutgers, and it's a win-win. It really is. I'm sure I would assume some of the Riders guys maybe show up too during the off season. I don't know if that's true or not, but I would imagine they're close by. They might sneak in there.
Yeah. I mean, it is, besides Penn and Drexel, I think Rider and Princeton are the two closest D1 wrestling schools geographically. So you'd think so, but I haven't talked to the coaches about it. I'll bug them next week. Well, should we dive into the lineup?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that.
So starting at 125, we got Shane Metzler, it looks like.
Yep, Shane Metzler. Looks like he'll be the starter. He did lose his wrestle off to Aguilera from California, but I think at this point, it looks like they're going to keep Aguilera in red shirt. Maybe see how things go, see how it plays out. Metzler went 1-2 last weekend, and he lost to a Division III guy, but that guy was pretty special. If anyone saw that match, that kid's very special, and so honestly, I probably should have won the Fresno State match. There was a call in there for a takedown and an escape that was mind-boggling to me. So I would have liked to have seen that no call there and see how that match ended up. But regardless, he went 1-2. You know what? I think he's got a good shot at winning both matches this coming weekend against Appalachian State and Utah Valley. So hopefully he gets back on there. And like I said, I think they're going to keep Aguilera out of keep him in red shirt for now and see how things go. Let him go to some open tournaments and see how he progresses.
Yeah, I know that there was a bunch of fans at the Princeton Open who were wishing they'd pull him out of red shirt. There was a lot of mat side talk, especially in the semifinal match, about what they're going to do. I didn't get to talk to Coach Goodale. He said he would do an interview, and then he got distracted. So it's an interesting way to start the lineup. It might be the softest spot for them.
Certainly one of them, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, So it's going to be an interesting way to start your duel, especially in a tough conference schedule.
If we're looking ahead, I mean, I don't expect there to be a national qualifier out of that weight class for Rutgers, regardless of who the guy is. So maybe in that case, it might be better to keep Aguilera in red shirt. I look, obviously, as you mentioned, I do the rankings for the conferences, and really the Big Ten is 10 strong at 125, and that's with Ohio State and Penn State keeping their true freshmen in redshirt. If those guys come out of redshirt, you're talking 12 strong, and 12 people are not going to qualify. I don't think so for the NCAAs, and I don't see Metzler breaking that top 12 if those other two guys also come out of the redshirt. So I don't think we're going to get a qualifier out of that weight class for us.
I agree. Moving up to 133, we got Nick Suriano, national qualifier, finalist last year, against Spencer Lee. I had him picked as a champion, although he did come out with that massive brace on his knee in the finals. Didn't look like the same guy. He's a junior this year. To me, his time has gone quickly. Maybe that's because he's been in the news so much. He's got 2 years left to leave his mark, and the question I have is if he's sticking at 33, which that's a meat grinder too.
They both are.
And Nick used to talk to me more than he does now. I know he wants to leave a mark. I think beating Spencer Lee would leave a huge indelible imprint.
Sure. After
he was gone, but maybe he doesn't look huge to me. What do you think about Nick?
Yeah, I keep seeing everyone's saying that he looks so huge, and he was definitely going to be 133. I don't see it. Yeah, he's got a build on him, but I think he's a 125 pounder. I think he could be a finalist at either weight. I think he probably has a better shot at winning the national championship at 133, but I think it's a harder weight to get to the finals. I think it's, you're talking your quarterfinal match is going to be real hard at 133. Not to take anything away from the 125 pounders. I think he's a shoo-in to make the finals at 125. That being said, beating Spencer Lee would not be an easy task, as we saw last year. And but hey, I think Nick Soriano could certainly win 133. I feel maybe it'd be an easier road to the finals at 125.
I agree. I think Micic, Gross, Fix. That's a tough semifinal, like as tough as you can get. And
Tariq Wilson, North Carolina State. I mean, they're just the list goes on and on.
Absolutely, and the Big Ten is loaded at 125. I'm not sure it's the same caliber after this year. No. We may say we were wrong, but I think the 133, finals or NCAA bracket could be one of the best in a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly will be. Like all the guys you mentioned. I don't even know if we said Lezak. You got Austin DeSanto. I mean, it's just. It's a grinder. Scott Parker's a returning All-American. You got Luke Pletcher in there. There's a lot of guys.
Yeah, and who knows what Roman Bravo Young is going to bring? And
sure,
this is they're 12 deep. This will be an interesting thing. We can talk about this more. I'm not sure how much you're comfortable talking about it. To me, one of the things about Rutgers is they've had some good kids, and I'm not sure how much better they get during the season. I'm not sure if they have the training regimen down as finely tuned. I think that Coach Goodale has been really passionate about building the fan base and getting funding. But I want to see how much of an improvement Nick can make during the season. I know he gets to work out with Donnie, and Donnie's a great coach.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Donnie, I love that guy. I think his mental approach is one of the best that I've seen an assistant coach bring to the game. But everybody's going to him for that, and that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, and again, we go back to the new RTC, the new NJRTC. With hopefully guys like Reese Humphreys, maybe he could get through to Nick Soriano as well, and working with him. I mean, and he's bringing in guys as well, as we know. So, I think, as you mentioned, I think Rutgers has done a great job. The coach staff is doing a great job there. From this program where it was 8 years ago, they're doing an incredible job. But yeah, you do have to wonder if even if there's the guys in the room to work with Soriano. So hopefully they're going to get that through the RTC and working with Reese and some of the guys he might bring in.
Yeah, he's got Reese to work out with. I think they have Kindig there. And so I look forward to watching it. I can see that, I'm a Soriano fan. He is my pick to win the championship at 33. I think that he brings an intangible toughness mentally. When you come out with a big bracelet, and he would never make an excuse. And I'm not quite sure what happened to him during the NCAAs in March. He just didn't look like the same guy in the finals.
The finals, right. He had a great tournament up till the finals. And I think you got to test some of that to Spencer Lee. I mean, he really is we're looking at, in 4 years, we might be saying one of the best NCAA wrestlers of all time.
Without a doubt. And we're in a renaissance right now. I mean, between Spencer Lee and Vincenzo Joseph and Yanni, we could end up rewriting the top 10 of NCAA wrestlers in 3 or 4 years.
In the next 4 years, yeah.
It's really kind of crazy. Well, I look forward to watching Soriano. I hope the Soriano Fix match materializes. I like both of those guys. I'd love to see... on the other hand, I'd love to see Soriano go down and face Lee and both guys be healthy. Because I'm always wanting 100%, the best guys at 100% so we can see the best wrestling out there.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
all right. We'll see what happens. I'll be honest, you know what? If I had to take a pick right now, I have no problem picking Nick Soriano to win a national championship at 133. I could safely say that I feel comfortable enough to say that. Now he's just got to get it done.
Look, I think that Gross and Micic also. I mean, Gross has an intangible. I love Micic's style and technique. I'm not sure if I said his name the right way, but he's got some real interesting attacks that are super slick that I'm not sure that Soriano has encountered. I mean, everybody calls it a European style. we'll see if he's packed on some muscle. I think that he has. So
Okay.
I'm looking forward to the weight class.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. Yeah.
141.
Yep, we got Mike Van Brill. Looks like he's going to be getting. I know they Robert Clear got one match at the duel, and but I think Mike Van Brill, everything Coach Goodale said that he's done a much better job with his weight, cutting his weight cut during the preseason and coming into the year. So I think that'll help Mike. Again, tough weight class though. Big Ten, especially that before you even get to the NCAA's. I think Mike Van Brill qualifying for the Nationals this year is something that Rutgers should hope for with Mike. Now, that being said, in my rankings, I got him down as 12 out of 14, but there's certainly room to grow there. So I wouldn't put it out of the question that he could be a national qualifier this year. I truly believe that.
Yeah, I mean the Big Ten in my quick look, there's 10 Big Ten guys ranked in the top 20, I think. I'm not sure how that jives with you. But the thing that I think goes in his favor, one, I think from talking to him last year and watching him, he is open to learning. I think he's learned how to manage his weight. And he's also wrestling between the two biggest studs in the lineup, which gives him a tough look whenever he wants it.
Exactly.
And the thing when I look back, I'm not sure if he's beaten a top 40 or 50 guy in the last year or two.
Yeah, I'd have to look at that. I know Ryan Deal from Maryland was a national qualifier, and in the match last year where they had the outdoor match against Maryland, Mike was in that match. I think it was a 1-2 point match that he lost, and it was a great match. And that was probably, I guess, that would have been Mike's first match of the year last year, as coming off a red shirt. But so I think Mike could hang with a lot of these guys. He's had some. Unfortunately, there were losses, but he had some close losses to some guys that you like to see him pull a couple of those out. But I think he's right up there with some of those guys. And I'm not talking the top guys, but I'm talking to get to a qualifier.
To be a qualifier, I agree. I talked to Coach Pritzloff last year about it a little bit. Maybe it was after the Maryland match. I'm not sure. That his positions, he's just a little loose in a couple positions, and if he changes where his hips are at and maybe where his elbows are at, I think he can finish on some of those tougher guys. Qualifying, I think, would be a big step. And also would say something for the coaching staff, the RTC, that they're developing their guy more than some of these other Big Ten guys during the season. So
that would show something if he does,
Yeah, so I have him down as a program indicator. He is one of my program indicators in my notes, and I like the Van Brill guys. I like their attitudes.
Real hardworking kids.
Hardworking, hard nose.
Must be because they're from Gloucester County, New Jersey, where I live now.
That's it. I was asking John. I said, "Did you guys put a lot of holes in the walls?" And he's like, "Man, my brother was always too small to really pick on as a kid, but my dad would go make us dig a pool."
I was going to say they put holes in the ground. Yeah. They put holes in the ground down there.
Take the energy out of you when you're doing some physical labor. All right, moving on to 149. We got Schnalte. He's back. National qualifier. Back from 2 surgeries. His shoulder. He says his shoulder's 100%.
It looked pretty good last weekend. Now, not against the greatest of competitions, but he, 3 first period pins. Looked incredible. Really, looked great. That third match, there was a real feisty guy. This kid was coming at him left and right. I don't know if you got to see the match or not, but he was a fire plug. Kind of reminded me a lot of Alan Bannister, Alfred Bannister from Maryland. So he reminded me of that guy. And once Schnalte settled him down, and he got the pin in the first period. But it was fun. It was an entertaining match up until then.
Yeah, we've spent some time talking, and he'll talk to me, off the record a few times. I know the comeback was not easy. Even the coaches, I think, talked to his parents about whether he can come back, because it's not when you're an indestructible athlete at the highest level. You can go through some dark emotional periods, and I'm not saying it was a dark period, but
sure.
It is it can be a down point, and he still has his sight set on senior level activity.
Yeah, it's great to see.
And that is great to see, because coming back from that it's just not an easy thing, and I just appreciate that. And the kid has worked so hard to get to this point, and I just got a lot of respect for that. This weight is not as strong at the Big Ten as the previous weights we talked about. He's got Micah Jordan, which I don't think Ohio State went to the Cliff Keen last year, but they didn't send the entire team.
Right.
And I'm not sure, what they're going to see, what he'll see. But I look forward to watching him. I like his technique. I love the angle of his attacks. I love his approach. He's got a great angle that kids have a hard time seeing his shots coming from.
Correct.
I tell him I think he'd be great at MMA, because that angle is where you knock people out. But anyway, we're talking about wrestling.
That's fine. Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, look, I absolutely love Anthony Ashenall. Love the kid. It's getting to see him wrestle over the last 5, now 6 years. It's fantastic as a Rutgers fan. Longer than that, because obviously I watched him in high school.
Yep.
So, he probably has the best shot. He's a 3-time All-American already. Probably his best shot this year to become a national champion, which is, been his goal probably since he was in high school or before that. So, I will be there rooting for him in Pittsburgh. That's for sure. He definitely put Rutgers on the map, and I know Soriano was a finalist last year, but Ashenall really is the face of the program. I still believe so.
I agree.
It'd be great to see them both win a national championship, but Anthony's done a tremendous amount for this program.
I asked him, "Hey, do you pay attention to the rankings?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, Kolodzik is number 1, he owns the last head-to-head victory over Kolodzik, and he just looked at me and said, "Better they end the season at 1 than start the season at 1." They see each other a lot at the training center.
I'm sure.
So they know each other. It's almost going to be like a wrestle-off if they face each other at NCAAs, because they know each other's tendencies. They're going to wrestle probably a little bit tight.
Yeah, I would think that would be the only time they'll see each other would be the NCAAs. I can't imagine. Well, no, I'm sorry, the dual meet. Jeez.
There is a dual meet.
I forgot about that. Yeah. So
I wonder if they'll both be. I wonder if they'll do it. I think they wrestled 2 years ago at the dual meet, and I think Kolodzik won the dual meet, and then
he did.
And then Ashenall won at NCAAs. So I'm looking forward to that. That's a lot of fun for Jersey. I know Kolodzik went to Blair. He's from Ohio, but you adopt him as a New Jersey guy.
We adopt him,
and it's he's wrestling a pretty different style too. Just watching his All-Star match, he looks just a little more relaxed this year. So I'm looking forward to that kind of thing. I love seeing the best guys go at it.
It's going to be nice. I mean, to have 2 of the top guys at the weight class being New Jersey guys, it's fantastic. Yeah.
So to me, Ashenall is another program indicator of, let's see if we can get these guys better in the room. He's a multiple-time All-American. Can he be so he's the face of the program because he was the top recruit, and he chose Rutgers right out of the get-go. Soriano had that little pit stop at Penn State.
Sure.
And if they can get their first national champ this year, I think they'll start, it'll turn some heads for some out-of-state guys.
Let's hope so. Yeah, let's hope so.
Moving up to 57, we got John Van Brill, qualifier. Talked a little bit about him with his brother, but go ahead.
And we also mentioned earlier, round the 12 guy, had a 4-point lead, 16 seconds to go, I believe it was, and unfortunately went to overtime and got taken down. And I'm sure that's weighing heavy on him, and it's something that he thinks about every day. From what interviews I've seen with Coach Goodale, and it's not a bad thing. It's something that he just thinks about, and hopefully motivates him to get him through to All-American this year. He certainly has a great chance of doing that. It's I think he's ranked maybe top 10 in the country, and probably in the conference itself, he's probably 6th or 7th. So it's funny how deep that conference is, but that's not a bad thing because all those guys should qualify for the NCAAs, and once you get there, anything could happen.
I agree. He is like number 7 in the Big Tens. The thing that I hope that he's worked on the most is his mental tactics. Again, I like this kid. I think he wrestles tough, and I love that he opens up sometimes. or quite often, but it's how to win close. He can lose close. He can win big. He can win by fall. It's a matter of him making that little mental adjustment to win some tough matches close, because I think he's got that talent, and it's just having the right strategy that is going to take him to the next level, if you ask me.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, he had a close match this past weekend against Isaac Hokett from Fresno State. He came out a 3-2 winner in that match. And Hokett's certainly, he's a veteran. He's been around. I think did he start at Drexel? I believe he did. Started at Drexel back many years ago. And then Fresno State restarted their program, so he went back home. But, he's a tough guy. And, Van Brill wrestled well first matches of the year. So, I think he'll be fine. I look forward to seeing him this year. He's a good kid, great kid, seems like. I saw your interview with him at Princeton. I love the kid's attitude. I think I think he'll be very, very well at 157 this year.
Yeah, so he's down, right? So Lewis, they've moved around, he and Lewis, and the one thing that I think is a real advantage for him is his length at 57. Yeah. He has a lot of height and length that a lot of kids have a hard time. He can tie somebody up from an unusual angle. So that's one of those things I find a real advantage for him as well.
Yeah, and cutting corners on that and getting that takedown because of your length, you're coming around the corner a little better. That helps. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so moving into the next weight class, we got freshman Stephen Glasgow.
Stefan,
all right, Stefan
Glasgow, sure.
Yeah, he got hurt, was it his senior year in high school or over the summer?
Yeah, so over the summer, he did wrestle his senior year. He was state champ, 2-time state champ in New Jersey, the one-class state. So 3-time finalist, 2-time state champ. He scheduled to go to Rutgers last year. Something happened with admissions, so he ended up taking a prep year at St. Benedict Prep, but didn't wrestle. So he comes in this year, still got true freshman status, but he's a year out, and he's a guy that Rutgers is counting on, and me as a fan of Rutgers, really looking forward to watching him this year. He's everything. I'm actually happen to be good friends with his not high school coach, but one of his club coaches, and so I've known about this kid for a long time, and talking to his club coach, he speaks nothing but greatness about this kid, and really looking forward to him. He's a kid that, honestly, he's probably a 157 pounder, but he couldn't beat Van Brill in the wrestle off, so he's going to go up to 65 this year and give it a go. I mean, he's going to hit some hard times in the Big Ten Conference. Yeah. Actually, this weekend will probably be a good test for him against Utah Valley. He'll have a number 16th ranked Demetrius Romero. So, let's see what he does. I mean, that's a 16th ranked guy. There's no reason why this kid, if what I feel this kid could possibly be a 2-3-time All-American, he's got to come out and, and win that match, or at least show something in that match.
Absolutely. Now, I think that he did beat somebody in the top 30. Was it from Fresno State?
Correct. So let me cheat here and jump on WrestleStat and tell you exactly who that was. So Brandon Martino from Fresno State, he got the 3-2 win.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. So he got a win over Brandon Martino, Fresno State. So it's a good win. It's good to see a guy like that, just a first-year kid coming into his first weekend of college wrestling, to come and get that win. It's a nice showing. So.
Definitely a confidence builder. I think that you're right. So he would probably do better a weight class down, just looking at his body. But
sure.
It looks like he's a gamer, and this is one of those things where you got a 4-star recruit on the team. Coming back from injury. He didn't wrestle last year. I tried to reach out and find if he was practicing. I heard that he had a pretty significant, was it knee surgery? I don't know if that's true, but,
we can't tell you these things, Mike. We got to keep these things close to the program.
Close to the program.
By the way, any listeners out there, just know I am not close to the program. I am just a fan.
So, well, I look forward to it because he's he looks like a really good wrestler, and we'll get to see what kind of heart he has and what kind of mental approach.
Exactly.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
3-4 losses in a row in the Big Ten. Now, this is a kid that probably lost 4 matches in his whole high school career. So he might lose 4 matches in a row in the Big Ten, and that's you just got to see how he responds with that. I think Donnie would be a great person to have in that room with him.
Yes, I mean everybody talks about technique has to be relearned. All these things have to be relearned when you move to the D1 level. To me, it's when you're a 4-star or a top recruit, a blue chip recruit, you have to learn how to lose a little bit.
Yeah,
right. Because if you don't, it's really hard to bounce back. It's like it's like a brain injury without actually being injured. It's So I'm looking forward to that. We will see. I mean, what do you think about his chances of qualifying? Yeah.
You know what? I don't know, and that's a hard question for me because I don't know if it's just because I'm such a fan of the kid and a fan of Rutgers, but I like his chances. I think he'll get through. And I could be totally off on that, but I really think I like it. I like the kid. I think the kid's gonna surprise some people this year.
Well, I see him as a bubble kid, being undersized, young. I think it's another program indicator. If they can get him to March, that would be huge for the program. Everybody's following him. Local guy makes good. So,
his high school teammates, 165 pounder for Virginia Tech, having Mekhi Lewis had a great summer. Went over, was a junior world champion, and it's funny how they were high school teammates, and now they're in the same weight in college. So both of them freshmen this year, and maybe run into each other. Who knows? Their other teammate was a state champ the same year as they were as George Walton over at Ryder now.
Yep.
Spent a year at Old Dominion.
Yep.
And I had heard he was going 165, but he wrestled 174 this past weekend. It would have been fun if all 3 of those guys ended up at 165.
Right. Yeah, I have not gotten to talk to the Ryder guys. We'll see if that's where he's sticking, what their lineup is. I know they've got a lot of new kids there.
But I think they got Sherry at 174, so I'm sure he'll be the starter at 174.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, Sherry had a good year. All right.
Yeah.
Going up to 174, we got Joe Grello.
Yeah, he's becoming a seasoned veteran now, Joe Grello. Yeah. Even though he's only a sophomore, but he's a kid that didn't qualify last year. He a high recruit, another. I believe 2-time state champ in New Jersey, highly recruited guy. I think he came down to Rutgers in Michigan and chose Rutgers. So, he's a kid that went 0-2 in the Big Ten last year. It's not going to be any easier this year. It really is not. I have him ranked 11th. There's probably some room for him to move up a little bit there. Ryan Christianson from Wisconsin, they had a 2-1 match last year in a duel. So can Grello win that match? Sure he can. Can he show that he's improved a little bit? Coach Goodale says he improved a lot in the off season. So let's see if that happens, and let's see if he could break through now. You could probably qualify by taking 7th in the Big Ten conference in this weight class. So it's he'll be right there. I think he's a bubble guy, but I'd love to see him break through this year with a qualifying.
Yeah, I think he'll have opportunity. He needs to beat somebody in the top 25 and just build some confidence. I got to watch a few of his matches, and I felt like when he was wrestling, he had a different mental approach sometimes, it looked like to me, when he was wrestling some of the better kids, wrestlers. So we'll see what he can do. Did he end up beating Pagano out last year, or is that a weight thing?
I think so. If we go check the stats, I think he beat Pagano in the Black Knight Invitational. So he won that match 4-3. So it was a close match, and so I guess that's what got him to be the starter. But so he did beat Pagano 4-3 in the Black Knight Invitational last year. Yeah, and I don't think we'll see anything, but he did certify this year at 165, believe it or not. So
Grello did.
Grello did certify at 165. I can't imagine him dropping down. And at this point, unless there's if there's an injury or something like that. But I don't see, if you already pulled Glasgow's red shirt,
Yeah.
I don't see why you would just take him out of the lineup, but you know, we'll see what happens. Like I say, I know he did certify at 165. I don't, like I said, unless an injury, I don't see him coming down.
That's how I was getting to the Pagano thing. I just wasn't sure if there was room, if things weren't working out, for Grello to go down, and we can talk about 84 in a minute, and maybe possibly Pagano to go back to 74.
We can talk about that, but I can tell you that won't happen.
That ship's not going to happen, huh?
That ship won't happen. He's certified at 184. Coach Goodell has mentioned that he's an 84-pounder now.
Okay. All right, we'll just wrap it up. So there's probably 8 guys ahead of Grello at 74
yeah, I mean,
in the
honestly,
Big Ten.
I got him at 11th right now,
11th.
but there's guys there that, you know, he's close with. So, you know, we'll certainly see. And, you know, he could be a qualifier. I'd say he's a bubble guy at best right now. But, you know, let's see if he's made the gains in the offseason like we've been told he has. So
right, you know, the best way, whether he qualifies or not, to see how well the team is advancing is how they do with the guys who have been ranked around them. And if they can get to the point where they're competitive with them and winning their fair share, you know.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. That'll be big. Yeah.
All right, going up to 84, we got to start the season. Sounds like Georgia Pagano.
Hey, Mike,
go ahead.
Mike, let me just. I'm sorry, I should have mentioned that 174. Utah Valley's got a guy ranked number 14, Kimball Bastain. So that's going to be a great test
coming up
for Joe Grello. Yep.
Yeah.
So let's see how he does against that kid. The kid did qualify for the NCAAs last year. It's a one-time qualifier. Went 1-2 last year in the NCAAs. So, you know, that's going to be a great test for Joe Grello. You know, let's beat a kid like that. Let's beat a kid that he's ranked 16th, qualifier last year, 1-2 in the NCAA. So,
got it. All right, that's coming up. So that'll be a good indicator where he's at mentally and
absolutely.
You know, as far as the season goes. All right, up to 84. We got 2 national qualifiers here.
2 national qualifiers. I think they're going to let them both go in this year. So, so obviously Gravina gets his 6-year medical red shirt. Will probably be the starter. I think going forward, and you know, obviously there's a lot of questions with Gravina is his health. You know, I think what we've heard was that he's the healthiest he's been in a long time. His shoulder finally's been fixed correctly. I mean, there's not a tougher guy on the team, I can tell you that I've seen over the last 5 years with his shoulders popping out. They're popping it back in the match. And
during the match against Maryland,
going the match. I've seen it in Maryland. I saw Indiana. I mean, I've seen it many times. And, you know, goes back in and wins a match. I mean, it's just incredibly tough kid. Such a nice kid, too. I don't know if you spoke to many of your interviews, Mike, but really, really one of the nicest kids you'll ever meet. I've only got to talk to him a couple times, actually. NCAAs in St. Louis a couple years ago. I got to talk to him a little bit. And just really, really nice kid. And, you know, man, you know, you get, like you said, though, you got 2 qualified. You got Pagano, who's qualified before, also an 84-pounder this year. Both seniors, so, you know, unfortunately one of them is going to be probably out of the lineup. You know, we could talk about 97 in a minute or so, but, you know, if they're not getting the performance out of 97, could one of those guys possibly go up?
Right.
It's certainly possible. So, but before we get to that, you know, right now Pagano's the guy until Gravina's ready to come back from what we're told is that, you know, Gravina's doing better. He's much better, but they're going to give him the timeline that he needs because obviously this is his last chance. You want to make sure he's real healthy and maybe get him in a couple matches and take off a week or something. But, you know, so you might see both guys for a lot this year. And I'm sure you'll see him entered in tournaments and everything like that. Pagano, even if he's not starting, because we got to keep that kid fresh. Because at any time he might have to go.
Exactly. Well, Pagano, he spent a year at Penn State. And the thing that I think he took away from there, and maybe not, high school fans can correct me, is that when he can attack at that ankle level, he is deadly. I think he beat the kid from Lehigh last year.
He did. 2 years ago, Price.
Yeah, and but then he took some strange losses, and when the ones that I could watch, he was not able to get to that attack. And I don't know if it was a mental thing or if it was a level change thing, but you know, that is his attack. That attack is tough on Gravina. Gravina brings some heavy knees and hips to anybody who attacks him. So I like Pagano. I like his attitude. He went through, I mean, when I've talked to him, I think he said he went 3 or 4 months in the Penn State room before he got the first takedown, and that didn't break him. I love that mentality that you can keep working. He moved to a program where he can get some time in the lineup. I was expecting him to take more of a leap last year, and it didn't happen. Maybe the consistency. He took a leap. He got some nice wins, but then it wasn't able to make them consistent. I look forward to seeing him in the lineup. But that said, Gravina is one of my favorite guys. I talked to Nick, whether I interview him or not. And the thing that is another big program indicator for me, I remember him giving Gabe Dean and T.J. Dudley some serious matches at Grapple.
He beat was it T.J. Dudley he beat at the dual meet at home? I believe it was.
And I think he beat him at the Grapple at the Garden, possibly.
Okay. I do remember Rutgers winning that match against Nebraska a few years ago. I was at the match, so and I assume it was this is horrible podcasting. But T.J. Dudley, yes, Gravina beat him 3-2 back in December of 2015 or 16. So yeah,
that was Grapple, and at that point, I thought that Gravina would be a high All-American. He has got the mentality. He's got all the tools, minus the loose shoulder, to be there. And for a couple of years, I'm just wondering if he's got the partners in the room to keep sharpening him and his technique. Because I really like that guy, and I would love to see that for him, just on a personal level. Nicest kid in the world. He looks like he's a tough guy out in the mat, and I talk to him, and I'm like, "Where's the competitive spirit?" He's like, "That's just on the mat," and it's just good guy. And I hope that he's got with the RTC, some more training partners to really bang with to get sharper.
Yeah, it looks. Looking at last year, he beat Taylor Vance January of last year. Now Taylor Vance went on to take fourth in the country. The next week he had Bo Nickel. I remember that match. It was a 6-5 match. Gravina is tough. My issue with Gravina, it seems like if he can't get that arm drag in neutral, he doesn't really have a shot. And I think a lot of that has to do with that bad shoulder, having a bad shoulder for all those years. So maybe now it is corrected to where he can get in deep on a shot with the shoulder. So we'll see, because it seems like if he can't get that arm drag, he has trouble.
Away.
He has trouble neutral.
Yep.
So
he does. Yeah. We'll see. I know. Yeah, we'll see how his shoulder is, and we'll see if he can get some new technique based on having a different body.
So, exactly.
So I would see that there's 7 guys here, Big Ten, in my estimation, in the top 20. I think Gravina qualifies pretty solidly. My question is, if he's not healthy, where Pagano's mental approach is and where he's at mentally going into that Big Ten. I think he could easily qualify. On the other hand, I could see him going 0-1.
Yeah, you could see stuff happening, but I would say I like both guys' chances to qualify. I like Gravina's chances better to once he's there, and if he's healthy, I like his chances to become an All-American. He's had matches with, honestly, I mean, Miles Martin is incredibly good, but I've seen Gravina have a tough match with him. I've seen Emery Parker have good matches with him, and Taylor Vance, and those are the guys that are up there right now in the top 3 of the Big Ten. So, Gravina's right there with those guys, I would say.
I agree, and
maybe not so much with Martin, but with those other 2 guys, he's certainly right there with them.
I could see him easily going out as an All-American this year, and I hope it for him coming back.
Absolutely.
So moving up to 197, we talked about what kind of production Rutgers are going to get. We got Matt Corrente is back from redshirt. He's a national qualifier 2 years ago. Was that his freshman year?
So that was his true freshman year. He wrestled 197. And then I think all along the plan when they signed him back from high school was, you had Kevin Mulligan coming in, another 2-time state champ for New Jersey. And you had Matt Corrente coming in, the state champ, 2-time finalist. And, and I think Corrente was a 215, 220 in high school. So the plan always was that Mulligan would be your 97, Corrente would be your future heavyweight. Well, he tried. I mean, he tried last year. That's why he was redshirting. See if he could bulk up, get some weight on him to go heavyweight. But it just wasn't going on. The weight wasn't coming on, and maybe it wasn't good weight coming on. So I think the plans changed, and he felt better at being a 197 pounder. And if that's your body, that's your body. I have no problem with that. I think he did try to get to be the 285 pounder, and it just wasn't happening. So now we're in there, and Rutgers ended up getting a transfer, a guy that wrestled for Air Force Prep last year. So he wasn't on Air Force, but he was in the prep team. So he's coming in as a true freshman this year. Wrestle-offs, actually, it was Max Wright, I should mention, from the Air Force Prep, and Max actually beat him in the wrestle-off. Both guys got to wrestle last weekend, and they had, I think, let's see, record-wise, Matt in the duel, Max was 2-0 against two Division III guys, and they weren't convincing wins. And then where Corrente won his match against the Fresno State kid, again 5-4, wasn't anything a crazy win, but so they sent both guys to the Princeton Open. Corrente went 3-2 with one of his losses being an injury default, and in the process he beat one of the guys that did beat Max Wright in the tournament, the kid from Hofstra, Nazar had it. And so hearing this morning an interview from Coach Goodale, maybe Max Wright is a little banged up from that. So Corrente's going to get both matches, and to be quite honest with you, he's going to have hard matches. He's going to have tough matches in both duels this weekend against Appalachian State and Utah Valley. Appalachian State, he'll probably get Randall Diable. He's a national qualifier. And then at 97 at Utah Valley is Tanner Orndorff. Did not qualify, but quality kid, very good kid. So he's going to have some tough matches, but he'll have a chance to show the coaching staff that, hey, look, I'm the guy, and there's nothing to worry about here.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't put you to sleep there.
No, I'm just thinking about watching him at the Princeton Open. His hand was a little banged up, and I just I hadn't seen him for most of last year when he was on his red shirt, and I was just looking at some of his losses. Some of them strike me as being a little mentally not ready. He took some strange losses.
Yeah, and I think sometimes he goes out there and just thinks, I'm just going to throw this guy. Ends up getting on his back and maybe doesn't fight off, or if he does fight off, he's already down 6 points. And he's got to control himself a little more in the matches.
Yeah. So the thing I'm looking for him to grow at is just that mental approach to the match, and having a plan. Because watching him, now he was distracted by a hand that looked like it was pretty heavily taped. I know he lost to Traxler, who was a quality wrestler, but he also lost earlier in the tournament to somebody, I can't remember who it was.
Corrente did not. He actually lost to Traxel, and then he injury defaulted out against Rocco Kaywood.
Oh, that was it. So I think he was down on that match.
Actually, he was up 2-0.
Oh, 2-0, and that's when his hand I must have got banged up because he, Anyway, I'm looking for the mental hardening and match strategy from him. I mean, he couldn't make. I didn't know the backstory that he was going to possibly go up to heavyweight. He's tall. He doesn't look like he put on a ton of muscle at 97, but he didn't look like he was being pushed around at 97 at all during the matches. So we will see. I would be curious to see. I wouldn't think that Pagano could go with him, but what do I know?
Right.
Six guys. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I am looking at when he did qualify for the Nationals, Corrente. He actually wrestled Tanner Orndorff, he's going to have this weekend, and he lost 11-6 at the NCAA. So see what happens. See if he's gotten better.
Yeah. But he's got plenty of chances to prove himself. There's 6 guys in the Big Ten, but there's some guys around his ranking that he'll be able to compete with this year, just to see how how he's progressing.
We'll see how Northwestern's got a Jersey guy, Zach Chaconis, over there. So hopefully we could get the better of him.
Yeah. I think he needs a little confidence, and I think he needs to be just mentally a little focused here and get in there. I think he can qualify, but again,
it's not going to be easy, but he can.
Yeah. So it's one of those things. I think it's up to his mindset and his health. Obviously, health is for everybody, but
Sure.
When he looks like he is focused, he looks to me like a different wrestler when he's not distracted.
No, he's a big time recruit. I believe top 50 recruit and his year. So expect a lot from the kid, and hopefully he's putting in the time in the practice room, and and he's getting everything out of it.
Going up to 285, we have a transfer. Christian Colucci comes over from Lehigh, who was a Jersey kid originally.
Yep.
Christian, I got to watch him a little bit at Lehigh over the last year. I like his skill set. I'm not sure where he is as far as his overall development, as far as putting together a D1 kind of mindset and the grind of an entire season. But I like his upside. Rutgers has had they had what's his name.
Billy Smith, or were we talking before that?
No, just Rashawn Gross. Step in from football, who was kind of a passionate leader, but had been away from wrestling for a while.
Sure.
And then Billy Smith, who, Billy, I'd heard some weird things about, how hard he wanted to work in the practice room, and we'll see. But Colucci, they're getting him at, I think, at the right time. That
sure.
I'm not sure how much you've gotten to watch him. I'm not sure who they've got to work out with him, and I'm not sure what the RTC offers him right now.
True. I don't know a lot of those answers. And to answer the first question, I did not see him wrestle a lot. So, I did not see him wrestle at Lehigh. Obviously, I watched him a little bit when he was in high school, Jersey State champ. But, so I'll put it this way, Mike. Rutgers needed him.
Yeah.
Because without him, he's a lot better than the alternatives we have there at 285. That's for sure. He wrestled A.J. Neville, Nick Neville's brother, this past weekend. He lost a 3-2 match in tiebreaker 3. A.J. Neville was an NCAA qualifier last year. He went 0-2 in the NCAAs. But, I really quoting Coach Goodale, you got to win those matches. And then that's, it's great to lose a close match like that. But like Coach Goodale says, you got to win that match. And but like I said, he's our best option, and I'm very happy and thankful he transferred here.
Yeah, you needed him there, and I see him somewhere hovering around the top 30 right now, and I hope that the room can make him a better and more consistent thing. I think he's got the physical tools to be a top 20 guy by the end of the year. Is he driven? I know he was behind. I think it was Villaro last year at Lehigh?
Wood, right?
Jordan Wood. He was behind Wood. And was he there 2 years? I don't know if he was behind Villaro the year before. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he's been at Lehigh for a while now. So he's been there since 2016, and so he would have been behind Max Wessel even.
Max.
So we're going way back.
Doug, and then Jordan. So he's behind three guys who were quality guys. All those guys were qualifiers, and
Jordan Wood is round the 12 guy. Yeah,
round the 12 guy, and
Wessel was All American. No, Wessel, didn't he beat Billy Smith in a blood round? Am I?
Everything bleeds together. Who's
we're talking 2016. So
yeah, there you go. So
I thought, I thought it was between him and Billy Smith in the blood round, and Billy had beaten him the last match of the year, but then Wessel, I believe, beat Billy Smith to get on the All-American. So
that's it.
You know what? Maybe I'm totally wrong, but I do know he beat Billy Smith in the NCAAs 3-2. I think that was to get him to be an All-American. So
got it. And he's also been rolling around the mat with Zach Ray, who was a national champion and a coach.
Sure.
So he's had a lot of heavyweight.
Another Jersey guy, by the way.
Say it again.
Another Jersey guy, by the way.
Exactly, another Jersey guy. Yeah, they're going. The big guys are going to Lehigh, but so he's had
they're going all over the country.
They are.
We got to keep them home.
So I think he's been exposed to a ton of good wrestling. We'll see how he develops. There's only 4 big guys. This might be the weakest Big Ten weight class. I think 4 guys in the top 20. So
yeah, but you got to keep in mind also that we don't know yet what Gable Stevenson's going to do. So he would certainly be a guy that's he's going to, right when he steps on the mat, he's going to be in the top 5. So
Without
most likely
a doubt.
number 1. But so yeah, but Colucci, you're right. He's right up there though, and I think it would be a disappointment if he doesn't become a national qualifier this year, to be honest with you.
I agree. I mean, as hard as the schedule is for most of the Big Ten schedule is for most of the guys in the team, I think it sets up fairly well just looking at it for Colucci. He's got a lot of time, and he's not. I don't know that he's going to be facing back-to-back top 10 opponents. So
True.
So
that being said, he's going to have 2 tough matches this weekend, but you know what? They're matches that he's got to make a statement in.
Yeah.
I see the Utah Valley guys ranked number 19, Tate and Orndorff. I'm going to be honest with you. I like that kid a lot. I think he's under ranked at that point. I think that kid's going to be a real hard out for Carluccio. Wouldn't be surprised if he lost that match, but I want to see him beat a guy like Carey Miller from Appalachian State. He's a good wrestler, but I want to see Carluccio come out and win that match.
Well, there we are. So we kind of went through the whole lineup. Right now, just looking at the big picture, where you pick Rutgers to end up. I mean, winning a national championship, at 33 or at 49, automatically gives you a flood of points.
Exactly. Right? That's how this NCAA tournament works. So, if one or both those guys get in the finals, even without getting another All-American, you're probably top 10. But you got to, I think, there's obviously the talk is always, can you get a trophy? Can you get a trophy? And I know Rutgers coaches say, that's our goal. We want to get a trophy. We think we could do. I think it's too far. I think it's too far out to say that they get a trophy. And that's, and that's even saying if both guys become national champions, I don't know that they win a trophy. But I think they would be right outside there. So I'm thinking, I think 5 to 8 this year is where Rutgers probably will end up. Yeah. Or should look to end up.
Yeah, I would say that, having a national championship or a champion would be huge. I think if they had 2, I think they'd get a trophy. That just, I think looking around now, there's things to happen.
Point-wise, yeah, I'm not looking,
point-wise, but I think, the upside here would be 4 All-Americans. If they ended up getting Van Brill and Gravina to join Suriano and Ashnault, that would be huge for the program. Top 10 finish, regardless if anybody's. But I think that they should. I mean, the high side of this would be at least 2 finalists, and then Gravina and Van Brill being in the 4 range would be huge for the program. And there would be a lot of Rutgers guys being shown on the screen on ESPN. The viewership is huge there. I think that's the upside. The downside is that they have 2 All-Americans and maybe no one in the round of 12, and that would be kind of the worst case scenario, I think, for the team. The kind of the floor. So I see that ceiling. If they get a champion, or if they have 2 guys in the finals, I bet they're in the running right now. I know, when I went through the entire NCAAs, I think that there could be only one team, Penn State, with multiple champions.
Right.
When I think about it right now, I know Iowa fans will hate me for saying that, but I think Lee is their guy right now. I don't see anybody else making that jump.
Possibly Stoll, but
possibly. I know that the word is that Minnesota's red-shirting Stevenson, but when I talked to him last, he was pushing 100% to go. And we've seen him in the freestyle world knocking kids, our guys off at the senior level from neutral.
I think what happened was he recently maybe did it on Instagram, said that he was in red shirt right now. So we'll see. That changes at any time. I don't see any reason to redshirt a guy like him where if you're up there for the national championship conversations as a true freshman, I'd have him out there. But
his points could end up meaning. I mean, Minnesota's
Huge.
stacked at the lightweights. They're on a bubble for the podium.
They certainly absolutely are.
But I would say that Rutgers, with two guys there, with Soriano and Ashnall, I could easily see them at 5 at the lowest if they're both in the finals. So, I think we talked about the RTC. I mentioned a little bit about building during the season and improving during the season. And this kind of being, I think, the struggle to convince some kids to stay home in New Jersey. I think Rutgers, the attendance, the state is just booming. I've been to the Rack. Other than the music, I think it's the worst music that I go see, but it is a great environment.
That music is so loud. We go, we're in that skull session, and you can't even hear people talk. It's too loud. That being said, I obviously I went to the first the quad of the year, and I don't remember hearing the music as loud, but that's also could have been just it wasn't a big atmosphere match, I'd say that. With Rutgers recruiting, they got for next year, the kids that are seniors this year, they got 3 really good kids coming in. Signing period is probably a week away or so, or something
close.
Like that. So let's hope we get those kids signed. But Joe Aragona, what? That kid's probably number 1 right now. Who's number 1? I know you were there. Won 2 matches.
Yeah.
Kid's incredible. Robbie Canard, kid from New Jersey. He's been right up there for the last couple of years. He has tough kids that he's wrestled in. I know the semifinals 2 years ago when he was a sophomore, he had to wrestle Glasgow.
Yep.
Great match. Lost a close match to Glasgow. Last year, it was another tough weight class. I hate that I draw a blank, but because I have a lot of spreadsheets available to me. Oh, yeah. Shane, he had in the finals, he wrestled Shane Griffith, who, as you saw in Princeton, really incredible tournament. So Robbie Canard is a guy that really I've been high on since I've seen him as a sophomore. Great kid. And then they got a kid from out of state, which was, I think he was a 2-time national prep finalist, Jackson Turley. So he's a Virginia kid. Everything you hear about him, I know he's top 5, I think, in the country at his weight class. So they got 3 really good kids coming in. Hopefully, maybe even get a couple more that, maybe they're not that caliber, but you always got to have guys in the room that, are going to push kids. So new training facility. I know you were at. I think they're going to be moving into that. I think July or something like that of this next coming year. There's still some really good juniors out there in New Jersey and close by Pennsylvania. If we could get some of these kids to buy in and want to come here, that's huge for the program. Yeah.
Yep. Just looking at the high school participation numbers, Jersey's always top 5. When you look at qualifier numbers at the NCAA level, Jersey high school kids always top 5. So you got to think right now. The average Jersey wrestling fan is saying, all right, we have 3 schools here. I'll discount Princeton. They're drawing.
You really have to. You really have to discount them because they're getting they're going to get kids. They're a national program because of their academics, and hey, they got some great coaches. I love those guys down there as well. So
yeah, they're the playful wolf pack down there. But you got to think that the pressure is on for Rutgers just to keep climbing that ladder, and
have to.
If I can't imagine the fan base being completely satisfied until they're a perennial top 5 team, and that's a haul. That last few rungs is tough.
You know what? Let's start at top 10. I know 11 last year, but let's do a couple years of getting top 10 and pushing towards top 5. And there's kids that. I understand, like a Pac Laurie's going to go to a Princeton because of the academics, and but there's kids that have left the state that I really wish would have given Rutgers a chance. I'm not going to name the names, but they're kids that certainly, they're already All-Americans or going to be All-Americans that I wish they gave Rutgers a chance.
Yeah,
we could talk about that if we turn off the camera.
Sounds good, Dan. Any last words for you want to talk a little bit about WrestleStat? I
think I mentioned a little bit earlier. WrestleStat, I don't know if you're a Division I fan, hopefully you're already on there, but it's a great place to, if you want to go you're looking for stats within the Division I. We're into Division II, but we're not totally there yet to roll it out and say, all right, you know what, we're the greatest place for Division II stats as well. But Division I, you need stats. You come here, you could compare wrestlers, you could pick a weight, you could put in the two teams. We actually have them if it's a match that's already on the calendar. There's a place you could go. You can click the link. We're going to give you what the rundown would be. You can move around. You could switch the lineups because if you think, okay, this guy might be there at this day, you could do that. It's an interactive site to where the fans could go on, switch the lineups up, to see what might be a better matchup you might think for your team. We have a fantasy pick'em. We're not totally into the like a fantasy football yet. I think college wrestling fans are dying for that, and I will tell you this. I'll give you a little bit of an insider. We are heavily looking into that for next year. So we want to be the first place to where CBS Sports used to be the place to go for football. Yeah. We want to be the place to go to for fantasy weekly fantasy wrestling plan. That's our plans for next year. You know what? We don't want to come out with it too soon. We want to make sure it's exactly the way we want it. So we got that, but we still we do have a pick'em contest every week. We pick the top 20 matches. And, we don't have any way of knowing if the guys are going to be on the mat or not. So a lot of the weeks, if we pick 20, maybe only 16 wrestle because this guy was out of the lineup. So we have to do that in advance, so we don't know exactly if everyone's going to be healthy or not. We have, like I said, we have a ranking section. You can click our rankings. You can break it down by conferences. There's, you just want to see what you want to see. You want to see what Gravina wrestled in 2015. We have all the stats on there. So we've everyone now, because we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years now, everyone on there, I believe we even got Astronaut's first year stats. So that might have been, for those 6-year guys, we still have all their stats as well. So,
I think it's a great site. I use it. I'm old enough that matches blur together and I don't remember accurately, and I'll go back there and it's boom, right there. And a lot of times my memory is wrong, but I love it. It's a great wrestling resource.
Appreciate it. Yeah, there's a site that Greg Anderson started. As an Iowa guy. He started a few years back. I saw the site. I loved it. Contacted him. I helped him out for the last few years entering stats. I might be up till 2 a.m. doing it, but it's great. And then last year he asked me if I wanted to partner with him. So, yeah, we're partners now, and we really want to get this to the next level. We think it's an incredible site. We have the numbers to prove that it's an incredible site because the amount of people that are on our site, and then come March, forget about it. We'll blow up in March. But, the amount of people that do come to the site, I know it's a useful tool for the wrestling community. So please come on there. It's a free site. I'm not going to lie. We do have a donate tab up there if anyone wants to donate. We appreciate it. We're guys that work full time, and we do this on the part-time, but really it's almost a full-time job. So anyone can help us out. We appreciate it.
If you are running a big wrestling company or a small one and you want to advertise, contact Dan and Greg via the site. I think there's a contact us button.
There's a place. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and get an ad up there.
Appreciate it, Mike.
All right. Hey, Dan, thanks for taking the time. And I'm sure I'll see you somewhere mat side.
Yeah, probably. Hopefully ride a Rutgers match.
All right. Thanks a lot.
You got it.